So after this excellent talks by Dr. Das, Dr. Suri, and then Joy, uh, I'm going to be talking something basic and basic in the sense because what we are doing, we heard about correnders and the robotic cath labs, and now the other thing which we face in our cath lab, the regular problem, is that we have a room cath lab suite, and we have like hundreds of machines, and we have to be searching where is what, and then try to deal with that and try to correlate things in our mind rather than on the screen. So if you see, there are multiple displays in the cath lab today, and mind you, this is a zoomed out picture. This is not how spacious the cath labs are today. Of course, in Apollo, we have a huge lab, but usually the labs are small. It's very difficult to stack in machines which require machines for resuscitation, machines for monitoring, an echo machine, transesophageal echocardiography, and then you have an IOF, you have ROTA, you have a OCT, and then you have a 3D mapping. So imagine the number of monitors you have all around to do one case. So advanced cath lab suites today have various imaging modalities. Like I told you, it is an IOS, OCT, hemodynamic monitoring, 3D EP, cardiac EP, displays, etc., TE, and many of those. The biggest challenge is to correlate all the available information in a single display, and especially the catheter-based diagnostic like intravascular ultrasound and OCT require correlation with DICOM data. And this results in an increased procedural time, scatter radiation, and physical stress to the operator, as well as more radiation to the patient as well as the operator. So it would be an ideal to have a system which allows integration of multiple displays and provides co-registration of various diagnostic modalities. And this is the most required need as of today. And this will eventually help in clinically accurate treatment planning due to co-registration of DICOM data with IOS and OCT, improvement in the clinical outcomes, optimization of workflow, and saving in cost and procedure time. If you see what is the relevance of IOS over overlapping stent and fracture, if you have a co-registration like this, where you know that there is you have a procedure, then you have a second procedure, and what you see is there's a stent thrombosis. If you do an IOS, actually what you see is that there has been strut fractures which led to this thrombosis. And it gives you a very different information, not just seeing the images on a cine fluoroscopy, but also seeing the arteries from inside by intravascular ultrasound. But when you do this, you actually are depending on your thought process and your brain integration rather than a co-registration on the image. And that is what is the need of our. And similarly, you can see this is a patient of dissection of coronary arteries. You can see it very well on the OCT, but not so well on the conventional angiogram. And if you can integrate the two, you actually can have a wonderful imaging system. So, and if you can do it in a real time by streaming in these two inputs and co-registering them with the angiography, it will make all the difference. And what is required is only two angiograms with 30 degrees angulation apart, with only single contrast, and then you have these excellent correlations which actually help you not only to know the anatomical lesion, but to know where is the issue, what is the issue inside the vessel, both in horizontal and cross-sectional view. And then it correlates. If you see the dot here, the yellow dots, you can actually correlate exact position in the three-dimensional view. Where is your catheter, where is the lesion, and what is the internal view there and the angiographic view there. The same thing can actually be seen on OCT. This is the OCT co-registration with an angiogram. And if you can actually combine both, it actually adds to much more accuracy and user-friendly mechanism. So providing an exact anatomical registration between angiography, OCT, and IOS, that was the need of our ideal iCath suite will actually integrate this. And now it is very good that in India we have a machine, a company which actually co-registers. And what I believe, to the best of my knowledge, this is the only Indian company, maybe the only one in the world, which actually has this correlation capability and co-registration capability across any devices from any company. So across any vendors, it could be iOS from any vendor, OCT from any vendor. It can not only it can co-register, but it can also give us simultaneous imaging. So that is something very unique. So co-registration actually reduces contrast during PCI. It precisely identifies locations, especially in tortuous vessels, and allows visualization of anatomical location and composition of CTO registered to angiogram, and it facilitates side-by-side placement of stents. So once this is there, what additional do we need? So if you are doing it, these are the days of physiology guided interventions, and we have different types of fractional flow reserves, which could be IFFR or VFFR or QFFR, depending on the machine and depending on what we are doing. The conventional FFR actually requires a special wire, which is the pressure wire, which costs sometimes 60 to 70,000 rupees for the whole procedure at our place at least, or 30 to 40,000 rupees for this pressure wire itself. And then it requires administration of contrast as well as adenosine for vasodilatation. And then what you achieve is a physiological gradient across the lesion. And if you have a value less than 0.75 or 0.8, you actually think that this lesion is significant. And there has been different trials, and the FAME trial which has said that FFR guided procedures actually lead to better outcomes in terms of MACE and also in terms of in terms of restenosis and ischemia burden, which is decreased. So, but the same thing, if it can be done without putting in a wire, without a contrast, that would be an ideal thing, because you don't have to put in a contrast, you don't have to do a adenosine injection for vasodilatation, and also that you don't have to put pressure wire, so you save money. How it is done, again, it's done in the same way. The machine actually does 3D modeling of the artery beyond that, and the vessel and the atheroma is actually drawn on a 3D computational model on the angiogram correlation. And what has been seen in the FAST 1 and the FAST 1 study, that it has this sort of FFR, which is known as virtual FFR or VFFR, has a correlation with the actual wire-based FFR of 0.9, 0.89 or 0.9. So this is a very accurate, non-invasive way to actually know, non-invasive inside the cath lab to know the fractional flow reserve. So this lesion, if you can see, looks very tight on an angiogram, but if you do VFFR, you actually see that this is a moderate degree of stenosis and not require intervention. And this can be done without injecting contrast subsequent to putting pressure wire. So there's no need of pressure wire here. What you see here, it's color coded. If you have coding of red, the VFFR is less than 0.8, which is significant, and green and yellow are less than 0.8 and 0.9. So again, I've already told you about how to do this technique and what is required. Let me just go through quickly through different machines. Although co-registration is possible in Philips machine, but you require an iOS, integrated iOS and Volcano machine where it is co-registered, or it has a third-party software solution. Similarly, GE and other vendors have the same issues. So what is required is if you have an integration, like in this cath lab, which is an iCath suite, you have an integration of iOS and OCT and 3D imaging and 3D echo and 3D EP mapping all involved. And once you do this, this is a real case photo where you have, all the machine parameters on the left side. You have an angiogram here. You have a cross-sectional view of image, intravascular ultrasound, your hemodynamics, and horizontal view of the same. And this gives you an exact position because of these are actually the data is actually fed and correlated. Similarly, you can do co-registered, and similarly you can do the same in OCT. These are again the real pictures, and you can do a VFFR where you actually integrate and you come to a very conclusive evidence that these lesions are all looking significant on angiography, are not significant and can be left on good medical therapy. Similarly, this is very useful for 3D mapping. It's also very useful for 3D echoes and 2D echoes. And we are happy that this machine is available in India and has been made in India, and this won many awards nationally and internationally for its design as well as concept. I'm going to be just ending here because of the paucity of time. We have already sort of been late by 5 minutes. And if there is any question, we'll take that question. Otherwise, if Dr. Will ask Dr. M.K. Das and Prashant to actually conclude this with concluding remark or discussion.
Sure, Dr. Khanna. So I think in the paucity of time, I think we should just focus on just one question. And if there is any audience who would like to ask a question, otherwise I can actually ask that.
You have the questions in Q&A section.
Dr. Das,
Yes.
can I ask you one
answer to one of the questions? So already.
Can I ask Dr. Das one question?
Yes, please.
And then.
Yes, Aditya.
Yeah, sure.
So, first of all, wonderful talks by everybody. So we don't have time. Otherwise, I would have asked one question to each.
No, you can ask a question. Just one question from Dr. Das, and then we can conclude.
Just briefly, can you just tell us about teleporting?
You want to know about the teleport?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. The teleporting system is basically a person is staying, say, at a faraway place, and he can be present at different places simultaneously. And with that particular machine, which has been demonstrated to you, actually that can move around at different places. At the same time, the same machine can be put elsewhere also, and other person can also take the use of the same machine. So this is basically based on the virtual reality to some extent. This is not the complete version of the virtual reality. But total virtual reality, actually, you'll be seeing me as if I am sitting in front of you, shaking hand with you, and that's a sort of almost like a physical kind of presence. But it's not physical; it's just virtual with the help of some devices. So that virtual, this teleporting is just the beginning of the whole process.
Okay, so it was a wonderful session and a wonderful kickstart today. And as we all know, it's all all the actually effort goes to Dr. M.K. Das, who actually has revolutionized the scientific content of CSI, and actually at the right time has given the impetus to CSI to move on to digital platforms, also to have this as one of the flagship efforts of Cardiological Society of India to take the nation forward in the next decade of healthcare. I also
you've chosen the right person, Aditya Kapoor, who has been actually given the responsibility to be the chairman of the Digital Council. We have made a council, Digital Council, so he is...
I was coming to that, and Adit, who is a very close friend, and we are from the same batch, if I'm not wrong, and he is the right person to take the baton from you and take it to and ensure that the dreams which you have actually are fulfilled. I also thank Prashant, who has been very closely working with us for Apollo AI project and Microsoft AI project, and we have been interacting in the past. Manish, again, who is a great academician and also a good writer. Dr. Suri, with whom we have done a lot of research work, and we have published many publications on AI. And Joe, again, close friends and recent friends with Corindus, and hope to start, robotic endovascular interventions in Apollo, for especially endovascular interventions quite soon. Thank you all very much, and let's move on to the next session, which is on critical limb ischemia and also limb salvage. Be safe, all of you.
Thank you.